All the long distance races I've done so far have been runDisney events. That is until now. A few weeks ago, I ran the Hilton Head Half Marathon, and it's time to find out if this race is worth it.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
All right, cars loaded up, headed down to Orlando for work, but actually stopping at Hilton Head Island on the way to run the Hilton Head Half Marathon. So headed down a day early, get a run in. I'm not from Hilton Head Island. I'm actually from Atlanta. So it's about a 4.5, 5-hour drive for me. And it was actually on my way to another trip. So I had work down in Florida the next day, and I thought, man, I've got a long run already scheduled, for my training for a Disney event. I've got a long run for that Saturday, and I just happened to see that they were hosting the Hilton Head Island Marathon weekend and decided to participate as part of my training, but also because it was sort of on the way to where I was going, a little bit out of the way to get to the coast, but it was in the general right direction. Officially in South Carolina, about 45 minutes away from Hilton Head at the rest stop just inside the state line. So I'm trying to make it to get my race packet pickup before they close that here in about an hour and a half. Went and picked up my bib and shirt and all that stuff, which was actually at their local running store. I think the store or running club hosted this event, right? So I went, there was actually a line to get my stuff, but didn't take too long, got that. I actually went and checked out the beach for a quick sunset, kind of moment. Figured I'd get a couple minutes down here enjoying the sunset, get a good night's rest before the run early tomorrow morning. So it's a beautiful sunset here on Hilton Head Island. Got checked into the hotel, did all my pre-race stuff that I do before a long distance. So I did my compression boots and foam rolling and all that kind of stuff, and then ate a good high protein, high carb dinner. Hoping to be in bed. It's about 7:30, hoping to be in bed in the next hour or so. Still need to organize everything, clothes and nutrition and all that stuff for tomorrow, and eat. Good morning, it is race day, Hilton Head Half Marathon. All packed up, got my race stuff here, got my electrolyte energy mixed drink, sunglasses, backpack with all the nutrition and everything, and keys. Let's do it. The hotel is a busy place full of runners, and we're all leaving at the same time. Wake up early, of course, head to the start line, had to deal with parking and figuring out where all of that was. A little confusing getting in, but once you were in, pre-race area was your normal thing. The porta potties and all of that, it was a public park. All right, made it to the Hilton Head Half Marathon, and it's a little bit chaotic here. Got about 10 minutes, but I know it'll be good once we get going. So let's talk about the course. This was an out and back course, which I've actually never done. I've always done the Disney races that I've typically done are a loop. And even, a local race that I've done here at home, 15K was a loop. It ended up finishing where it started, but you never touch the same part of the path twice. This was my first time doing an out and back. The event started at Jarvis Creek Park, and there were some paved trails there in the beginning, a lot of highway miles, where one lane was open to traffic, and then, we were in the other lane, and there was a big overpass that you had to do. So that was definitely the most challenging part of the course. And there were actually some dirt trails, then some more paved trails, and then the turnaround, right? And then you go back and essentially do the same thing in reverse. Marathoners actually felt bad for them because they were an out and back and then another out and back. They had to do it. They had to see the course 4 times. And for me, that would have been a lot. Having done one marathon so far, I cannot imagine having to come back to the finish line, see it, and then go back and do another 13 miles. I think the 5K, I can't remember if they started before the marathon and half marathon or if they started after, but it was like a 30-minute difference. So us marathoners and half marathoners all started at the same time. And when you get back to basically the finish line, if you were doing the half, there was a sign that pointed you to the right, and there marathoners, there was a sign that pointed you to the left, and we split off, and they continued their race. Well, I just finished the Hilton Head Half. It was not as flat as I expected. I thought on an island it'd be flat. There were some pretty intense inclines, some long, slow inclines too. Still a great race. Here's what I liked about this race. First of all, it was not expensive. For the half marathon, I believe it was $100 or less. Everyone was pretty chill, but it was clear they were there to run. There really weren't any walkers that you had to navigate on the course. The course was flat except for that one big overpass. And then the variety of paved trail, dirt trails, and all that actually was really nice. So we were in and out of the trees at times, but then also some long straight stretches as well. We didn't get to see the beach. That was kind of a bummer. We did, see water when we did the overpass, but we never actually saw the beach on the run. Water stations were well placed and the spectators were awesome. Finisher medal and the jacket, the participant jacket, they didn't have a shirt, they had a jacket, lightweight thing. Was actually really nice. They're actually some of my favorites. I really like the design of both. Here's what I didn't love about this race, and honestly, the list is really short and kind of nitpicky if I'm being honest. The pre-race communication felt limited to me. I didn't know, how early I needed to arrive or what the layout of the pre-race area was gonna be. And that's something that, having done the runDisney events that are so large, they really communicate that kind of information. So I'm very accustomed to getting it. And so I felt a little bit in the dark as I was trying to get into the event. Exactly what time, exactly where. The parking situation was a little difficult. It wasn't hard finding a parking spot. It was just hard getting into the lots because no one, I don't think, was very sure on what to do there. So if I had one area for improvement, I think that signage, and pre-race communication is the one thing that they could improve on. None of these issues impacted the race itself for me. There were, bottlenecks on the course, a few, small ones that's to be expected, but nothing that tested my patience or ruined my experience. So the storyline now is that I need to get back to the hotel. It's 10:39. I need to get back to the hotel immediately because they would not give me a late checkout. I actually needed to be out of my room. They could not extend the checkout time, and I asked the guy if I could do some of my stretching and recovery in my compression boots, if there was some place in the hotel I could do that. And he actually opened a little office for me and let me have it for about a half hour to do some of that, which is great because I had several hours in the car coming up. Time for a post-race meal. I burned 1,400 calories during the half marathon this morning, so picked up 1,400 calories worth of comfort food to make up for it. The race was great. I felt strong. Everything went fine. Now it's a long drive. Here are my tips for you if you're considering doing the Hilton Head Island Marathon or half marathon or 5K. First of all, I would suggest arriving at least an hour early. To deal with parking and the long restroom lines. They do have a gear check area. I would suggest being there at least an hour before the race start. Second, there is a party that happens after the event, and I didn't participate in it because I had to hit the road and get on down to Florida for work, but the post-race environment seemed pretty awesome, so I would plan to stick around for that. And lastly, this is a fun race, I think, for experienced runners. I'm not sure that it's for new runners or walkers. I would say that I've been running for about 1.5 years now, and even I kept thinking, and I move at a pretty decent pace, I kept thinking, why is everyone running so fast? I definitely had to put forth a good effort to keep up. So the bottom line, is this race worth doing? I would say yes. Is it worth traveling in for this race? I came, from about 5 hours away and stayed in a hotel. Is it worth that effort? Maybe, but it did feel like a local race. Am I doing it again? Probably not, unless they significantly change the course and it would be a totally new experience. Probably not. Am I glad I did it? Yes, absolutely. This was a training day for me, and I just happened to do it at a race, so I wasn't pushing myself too hard. And I'm coming into the finish. This lady is trying to encourage another runner that is unfortunately getting passed by me. So she's yelling at him, and she's trying to encourage him, and she yells, "Don't let that guy pass you! Don't let that guy pass you! Don't let him pass you!" And she's trying to encourage him. And what she didn't realize is how much gas I actually had left in the tank and how competitive I actually am. I hit full throttle and came flying into the finish line. Left the guy, unfortunately, very far behind me, and I actually came in so hot on the finish line that the girl in front of me crossed the finish line and stopped, and I just absolutely wiped her out on the other side of the finish line. Of course, she apologized for stopping, and I apologized for being too competitive.